The night was August the 1st, 1987, and Las Vegas was holding its breath. Two undefeated heavyweights were about to step into a ring where only one name could walk out attached to every belt in boxing. This was not just another fight. This was the night the sport had been building toward for years. A collision of styles. A clash of legends in the making. And at the center of it all stood a 21-year-old wrecking machine named Mike Tyson. By this point, Tyson was already a phenomenon. He had torn through the heavyweight division like a hurricane through a coastal town. He held the WBC title. He held the WBA title. He was young, hungry, and terrifying inside those ropes. Opponents did not fear losing to him. They feared what he might do to their bodies before the referee could even step in. His hands moved like pistons. His head movement made him nearly impossible to hit clean. He was built in the gym under the motto's watchful eye to be something the heavyweight division had never truly faced before. But across the ring stood a man who refused to be another name on the highlight reel. Tony Tucker. 6'5" of pure discipline and precision. Where Tyson was chaos and destruction, Tucker was patience and geometry. He held the IBF title. He was undefeated. 34 professional fights, and 34 times his hand had been raised in victory. He was not a loud man. He did not need to be. His jab did the talking. His footwork told the story. Boxing purists respected him because he did not rely on brute force. He relied on angles, timing, and a right hand that had put good fighters to sleep before. This fight was billed as more than a boxing match. It was billed as the unification of the heavyweight crown. Whoever won this night would walk out as the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. There would be no more split titles. No more confusion about who truly ruled the division. Just one man standing above everyone else in the toughest weight class on the planet. The combined record walking into that ring was staggering. 64 wins between them. 0 losses. 0 draws. Two men who had never tasted defeat about to find out which one of them would have to feel it for the very first time. The tale of the tape told its own story before a single punch was thrown. Tucker held a 23-pound weight advantage. He was taller. His reach was longer. On paper, this looked like a fight that could go the distance. A fight where Tucker's boxing IQ might frustrate the young champion and expose him for the first time as a fighter who could be outthought and outmaneuvered. Analysts were split. Some believed Tyson's power would simply be too much for anyone to survive 15 rounds. Others believed Tucker's experience and physical advantages could be the exact blueprint needed to slow the freight train down. The world tuned in, not knowing which version of this story they were about to witness. When the bell rang for round 1, the entire arena seemed to lean forward at once. And then something happened that nobody expected. Tucker landed a short, compact right hand right on the button. It rocked Tyson. For the first time in his professional career, the young champion's legs betrayed him for just a flicker of a second. It was subtle. It was fast. But it was real. This was the first time anyone had truly seen Mike Tyson shaken inside a professional ring. The crowd gasped. Commentators nearly jumped out of their seats. Was this the beginning of the upset nobody saw coming? Tucker did not stop there. He mixed in sharp uppercuts. He used his jab to keep distance. He showed the textbook footwork that had carried him undefeated through 34 fights. For a moment it looked like the blueprint was working. It looked like size and skill might be the answer to Tyson's violence. But Tyson was not built to stay rattled for long. His corner noticed something crucial. Kevin Rooney, his head trainer, saw a crack in Tucker's armor. The single shots to the head were not getting through consistently anymore because Tucker had adjusted his guard. So the game plan shifted. Stop hunting for the one big shot. Start breaking down the body. Chop the tree at its roots before trying to fell it. From round 4 onward, the fight changed completely. Tyson began working the body with brutal intention. Every punch was designed to slow Tucker down, to drain his legs, to make that 23-pound weight advantage feel like a burden instead of a benefit. Tucker, being the smart tactician he was, tried to counter this the only way he knew how. He began leaning on Tyson, using his frame to smother the smaller man's leverage. frustrating the attack by refusing to give Tyson the room he needed to generate full power. It worked for stretches. Tucker's corner knew exactly what they were doing. By the later rounds, there was more grease being applied to Tucker's face between rounds than most fighters use in an entire career. His team was doing everything possible to keep him fresh, sharp, and moving. But Tyson kept coming. Round after round, the pressure mounted. The body shots piled up. The uppercuts kept finding gaps. Tucker never stopped trying to be clever. He kept trying to frustrate Tyson with clinches and holds and subtle tactics that had worked against lesser fighters. At times it even brought a strange energy to the crowd. Tucker mugging playfully mid-fight, almost as if trying to remind everyone that he was not afraid. Behind the scenes there was a story that would only come out after the final bell. Tucker later admitted he had hurt his right hand early in training camp. That same hand which delivered the shot that rocked Tyson in round 1 had been compromised before the fight even began. By the second round the pain had become a real problem. Yet somehow Tucker continued fighting through it. Continued trying to outbox one of the most dangerous punchers the sport had ever produced. It says everything about his heart that he lasted the full distance despite carrying that kind of injury against that kind of opponent. As the rounds ticked by, it became increasingly clear that this fight was not going to end in a single knockout blow. This was not going to be one of Tyson's usual demolitions. This was a battle of attrition. Tucker's discipline kept him upright. Tyson's power kept accumulating damage. Neither man was willing to fold. By the final rounds, the pattern had firmly set in. Tucker had won the opening exchanges. He had shown flashes of brilliance early. But as fatigue set in and the accumulated body work took its toll, the majority of the later rounds belonged to Tyson. His constant pressure, his relentless forward motion, and his refusal to let Tucker settle into a rhythm slowly but surely tilted the fight in his favor. When the 12th round ended and the final bell rang, both men were still standing. No knockdown. No stoppage. Just 12 rounds of two undefeated heavyweights giving everything they had. The judges' scorecards were read out. And when the numbers were tallied, the verdict was clear. Unanimous decision. The winner and new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson. At just 21 years old, Tyson had unified all three major heavyweight titles. He stood alone at the top of the sport. The youngest heavyweight champion in history had now become the undisputed king of the entire division. But this was not a night where the loser walked away in disgrace. In the aftermath, Tony Tucker earned something rare: respect. Commentators who had seen countless fighters crumble under Tyson's pressure could not stop talking about what Tucker had accomplished in round 1. He had done what nobody else had managed to do. He had rocked Tyson. He had proven that the young champion was human, that he could be hurt, that he could be momentarily shaken by the right punch at the right angle. When asked about the fight afterward, Tucker spoke with the calm dignity of a true professional. He admitted the hand injury. He explained how he tried to adjust his strategy once the pain set in. He said he still believed he had outboxed Tyson for stretches of the fight, even if the judges saw it differently. There was no bitterness in his voice. Just the quiet confidence of a man who knew he had given everything he had against the most feared fighter on the planet. In many ways, this fight became more important with time than it seemed on the night itself. Tucker's performance became a blueprint studied by future opponents who wanted to understand how to survive against Tyson. Move the head early. Find the counter right hand in the opening exchanges.